9 News starts with breaking news.
This breaking news coming into the KMBC 9 newsroom. I'm Kelly Eckerman. An Amber Alert is underway right now for a 9-month-old boy in Kansas City, Missouri. A news conference is just getting underway with Kansas City Police Department Captain Jake Bakina. Let's listen in right now.
Okay, Jake, what can you tell us about this Amber Alert?
Yeah, so looks like we're going live here with a couple of them. So this all started this morning about 9:50, just before 10 a.m. Officers were dispatched to a house near 40th and Hedges. The initial call was a disturbance call. The calling party had received a concerning phone call from her daughter regarding her granddaughter, and she was concerned for her granddaughter's safety. So the calling party went there, asked for police to come as well to help check on the safety of her granddaughter. And we responded there, contacted the grandmother, and began obtaining information. And so we were initially led to believe that there was concern for safety for the child. And in those instances like that, you know, we get a lot of resources engaged very quickly in those type of situations because time is of the essence. We're all familiar with the Amber Alert program. There are certain protocols in place when the situation dictates. In the instance that involves a parent that has their child, there are certain circumstances that require some extensive extenuation to those, where we're concerned for the safety. So right now, I don't have a lot of details specifically about that, but there was enough relayed to officers who then in conjunction got in touch with detectives and relayed those concerns to the Missouri Highway Patrol in a request for an Amber Alert. The request for Amber Alert goes to them. They make the determination. And again, the Amber Alert is designed to get as much information out as possible, as quickly as possible in the surrounding area here. We believe that the mother is capable of still being in this area. Obviously, they're in a vehicle, so travel time and things like that, that circle expands minute by minute. We do have detectives that are working all available resources to determine where that mother may be at this time with the child. And those investigative techniques are taking place right now as we speak. So that's updating.
Where they could be going?
We don't. That's some information the detectives have talked to. But again, the concerns relayed by the grandmother regarding conversations with the mother, within that, we don't have a lot of good information to direct us to a specific location. So our search is pretty wide.
Jake, according to the release that you sent out, the lady that you're looking for, her name is Tracy Calvin, 24 years old. And according to what it says here, Tracy Calvin left the residence with the baby, who is, I guess, her daughter, and made statements that she was going to kill the child. So obviously this becomes a very pressing matter to try and find her as quickly as possible, if that's true. Is that right?
100%. And let me straighten that out. There was some daughter and son talk there. So the mother of Tracy called regarding Tracy's son, okay. That's who we are concerned for the safety of. That's who the threats are against. And his name is Armand Calvin. He's 9 months old. And that's who we are concerned about. And yes, you're 100% right. That information was relayed to the grandmother who called us out of concern, and that gives us concern.
Being that young, that makes this pretty attention-getting, pretty concerning, being only 9 months old.
Yeah, 100%. You know, there's cases where there's an Amber Alert or there's an abduction, and the child may be old enough to walk away from a situation on their own should they find an opportunity or be left somewhere. A 9-month-old can't do that. And so the other thing we want public to be keeping an eye out for maybe a child left unattended. Sometimes a child will be left just on a corner at a house with a relative, something like that. And getting this word out as much as we possibly can, as quickly as we can, is the thing that will enable the public to keep those eyes out.
Jake, I know that a lot of times we see, you mentioned that a grandparent was involved, a grandmother, that sometimes grandparents wind up raising children. You said that Tracy is the mother of Armand, so it sounds like she does not have legal custody and she just decided that she wanted to take him. Is that, or do we know that?
No, I don't think we know that specifically. Usually in a case like this where with emergency, we don't get into custody agreements as part of the very initial investigation, but there's no indication that that's the case now.
We want the public to look for this, obviously. We want them to be aware of what's going on. I know we have a description of the child in the car and other circumstances, but what specifically at this point does the public need to know and to look out for?
Definitely the car. That's the last known place that the child and the mother were in, was in that car. So we've got that car description out, we've got it on the billboards, we've got it on the alerts, everybody's phone's probably gone off in the last 20 minutes. Out on the road, keep an eye for that car. If anybody knows this family and hears anything about where they may be going, or has any idea about where they may be going, like there's a place she likes to go, or a place she said maybe they talked to her yesterday and she wants to go to this place, that would be information detectives would need. Obviously, they can call TIPS hotline, or the contact information is available in that alert as well.
And Jake, just to be clear, just looking at this, you are looking for a white Nissan Rogue 2015, year 2015, with a Kansas license plate with a license tag number of 379RGM. Correct? Are there any other distinguishing features of this white Nissan Rogue that we know about?
Not that we know about, no. And what you read off there is exactly what we have as far as the alert's concerned, yes.
And that means that probably law enforcement all around our metro area is going to be looking for this car, right?
100%, yeah. And we want thousands of eyes and thousands of people out in the city to be looking for this car on our roads all across the city, both sides of the state line.
What kind of charge would...
This is pretty dangerous, but do we know, is the child in immediate inherent danger? Is there anything unusual about that?
I don't think unusual, other than the fact that what the mother relayed to the grandmother gave us enough concern. And we, in the case of an Amber Alert, we relay that concern to the Missouri Highway Patrol because a quote paternal abduction, absent an imminent threat, does not qualify for an Amber Alert. What they relayed to the Highway Patrol gave them enough in order to issue this Amber Alert. So there is concern of an imminent threat.
I don't mean to diminish. I know it's serious.
No, for sure. Absolutely. Yeah. There is concern of an imminent threat, which is what it takes to issue a full Amber Alert in a situation like this. Yeah.
And just because there is this alert, I mean, she says, according to what you've released, that she threatened to kill this child, that would be enough. And then abducting the child, I mean, she could potentially face charges here, correct? If she's caught.
Yeah. So this is an ongoing endangering the welfare of a child investigation. Once we locate her, once we locate the child, that investigation will continue. Our detectives will be investigating all aspects of the endangerment that this child has experienced, if any, upon further investigation at the hands of the mother. Yeah. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, we're kind of walked in here a bit late.
So Jake Bakina here, just wrapping up his news conference here at KCPD headquarters. They are looking for a lady named Tracy Calvin. She is described as a black female, last seen driving in a white Nissan Rogue 2015 with a Kansas license plate 379RGM. We'll have more information in our later newscast. Reporting live at KCPD headquarters downtown, Andy Alcock, KMBC 9 News.